Right, of course, because I should know who that is.
I don't care what you think. I'll tell you something that rubbed me right.
Felger and Mazz on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
Bruins Hurricanes potential playoff preview as the Bruins try and fight for the playoff lives and get into the postseason. Zach, game at 7 o'clock here on 98.5 The Sports Hub?
Yeah, Bruins here.
Then we have Celtics Hornets over on 105.7, I would assume.
Yep.
Games at 8, pregame at 7:30, also on NBC Sports Boston, which brings you the simulcast here, where we beam across New England and the country. That's a potential first-round playoff matchup. Do any of the potential first-round playoff matchups for the Celtics give you pause for concern, Mazz?
This one, a little bit.
Yeah?
Yeah, a little bit.
Really?
I think the Celtics will win, but Charlotte has played, offensively, they played really well here in the last, few months of the season. Now, the last time they played, I thought the Celtics went to the rim pretty much at will against Charlotte. I think that's where the weakness is. I think they'll beat Charlotte, but I could see the games, I could see the series stretching out a little bit because I think that look, the Celtics ultimately, to me, will be done in by a team that's going to sort of play physically with them and knock them around a little bit. I don't think Charlotte's going to do that, but they can score. And so, now again, I think the Celtics will play running gun with Charlotte all night and they'll beat them, especially with Tatum and Brown starting to gel the way they are. But, I could see Charlotte stealing a game or two if the Celtics get stupid and take too many threes.
That game here a couple weeks ago, Charlotte looked tremendous. Here in Boston.
Yeah, I'm talking about the one in Charlotte.
Right,
that was the more recent one. Yeah,
the more recent one. The Celts then went down to Charlotte and avenged it, quote unquote, and took it to Charlotte. But the game here, I remember, even Scal saying, "I got to rethink the Charlotte team."
Yeah, Tatum wasn't back yet, if I remember, though.
He was back. I don't know if he played, but I think it was after he had returned. I might be mistaken.
Okay, I'll check.
Anyway, go ahead.
Well, so the thing I remember last year, that first round series against Orlando was tougher than a lot of people expected. It went 5 games, but they defended them on the perimeter really well. And I was of the mind that series, because it was so tough defensively for the Celtics and frustrated them, they kept forcing those threes. That took a chunk out of them, and I think that was part of the reason they ended up losing that next series against the Knicks. Maybe looking at it like the brackets and the team that could potentially play in that first round, maybe the Hornets. Again, that first game you're talking about, Mike, was defensively a few weeks back. I don't know how they play defensively. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, are they like that Orlando team from last year? But if they can do that, they can, again, maybe take a chunk out of them like the Magic did last year, and that trips them up going forward. But none of these teams, Magic, Heat, Sixers, Hornets, anything that they could get in that first round, I think they're going to lose to.
It was 4 days before Tatum came back.
Oh, okay. So it was. Well, be that as it may, don't lose in the first round. Don't lose in the second round. Don't lose to anyone. Don't lose to anyone in the East. But I'd say certainly other than Detroit. Anything you lose to anyone other than Detroit, that's a pretty massive underachievement. Can we all acknowledge that?
Oh, I think not getting out of the East is a massive underachievement.
And then at this point, you would have to say probably the whole East. Although I do respect Detroit. I think when Cunningham went down in the middle of March, a lot of people thought, well, the Celtics are going to catch him. And you've actually gained no ground. It was a 4-game lead when Cunningham went down March 17th. It's a 4-game lead now. So Detroit's got a little something going on there, and they might be able to do that thing where they're just sort of a tough physical team, and they can get up into you, and you've got to they're going to punch in the honker, as I like to say. And sometimes those teams are giving you trouble in the past. Can you punch back? You should be able to. They can't score on your level. So you shouldn't lose to anyone in the East, but certainly no one other than Detroit. So I do think the Celtics are in a stage here where it's kind of going to be perfunctory here for a while, for weeks, if not a month or so.
Feels that way, yeah.
Want to follow up quickly on a Bill Chisholm, the new owner, or face of the ownership. The new owner is really a private equity firm, but Chisholm is the face of it. Did an interview with Adam Himmelsbach in the Globe yesterday. Was quite the little tickle your ass with a feather kind of conversation. My God, what a little ass tickle this was. Wow. Why even bother doing it? But I guess there are two things to glean. One is, just tell by the tone of the question where Himmelsbach is coming from here, and where he's coming from is Chisholm's sack. But one of the questions here is, Brad made it abundantly clear last summer that cost-cutting measures were essential to get below the salary cap second apron and ease roster-building restrictions. But the low-hanging fruit was that the new owner was coming in and cutting costs. Were you sensitive to that perception? Okay. What's low-hanging fruit about the fact that they cut a bunch of payroll? Didn't they cut a bunch of payroll?
Yes.
And was it a perception that they cut payroll, or did they actually cut payroll?
No, they cut payroll.
And it wasn't the second apron, or just the second apron. They also got under both luxury taxes.
Correct.
The taxes come with almost no basketball penalties. The aprons come with basketball penalties that I think are overrated, but fine. You can hide behind that if you want. The taxes are just money. So even the question is a giveaway of what a useless interaction this is. The low-hanging fruit about the perception that they were cutting costs, even though they cut costs. Answer.
It's so true, though. What perception?
What are we talking about?
It's a reality that they cut payroll.
They saved like $100 million, like around that, Jimmy, didn't they? Like between the actual salary and the taxes?
Yeah, it was something like that.
I believe they went from like $541 million to like 180 something.
So is that a perception, or they actually?
No, they actually did it.
Okay, so that's not a perception. And it's the luxury tax that, frankly, I think is the one that you talk about. The aprons have basketball penalties. The taxes, not really. So you're just saving yourself money and the private equity guys that invest in your team money. But anyway, this is low-hanging fruit, and it's just a perception. Got it, Adam. Answer. I think it's out there, but ultimately I have to prove every day in the near term, medium term, and long term that I want to win. I want to win desperately, and I'm a huge fan. I can understand where some short-term decisions might feel like they're not necessarily headed in that direction, but I put hand on heart and know I'm doing and we're doing the right things to win, and that's what we care about. So you have to trust in that. I compare us to other teams coming into the season that looked a lot like us. We were completely aligned that we're about winning. We're going to compete, play hard, develop our talent, find additional talent, and this is not a gap year. We're just not doing that. I can put my hand on heart saying that. I'll prove it, and I'll continue to prove it every day, that I just want to win. Did he answer the question?
No, not really.
Did he say anything there about, are they going to spend next year? Because, again, if you follow this closely, and I know most of you do, to get under the tax 1 year doesn't really do the trick. You have to get under the tax in 2 out of 4 years, is it, Jimmy?
It's something like that. I'm offended by the gap year comment, but keep going.
Yeah, I think it's you have to be under the tax 2 out of the 4 years to get out of the repeater taxes. So either next year or the year after, they have to, do the exact same thing. Be under the tax for that really to make sense. So they aren't just doing this 1 year, they're doing it again. Whether that's next year and I think next year is probably the year that they would do it again, Mazz, don't you? Because if they add to their roster next year, go back into the tax next year, win at a high level, it's going to be hard to, we brought in so-and-so,
correct,
won a championship with them, and now we have to sell them.
Now we have to take it apart again.
Right? It's like sort of easier, I think. And also, again, they have the least discerning, critical fan base in town and media. I mean, it's obvious. There's no scrutiny coming their way. If they do lose in the second round this year, they're not going to get belted by their media.
No.
Or their fans. They're going to say, well, what do you expect? Tatum was hurt all year, and they had to get under the apron.
I hate that that's built in.
And
I hate that.
So this year is already a win. They've identified a group of young players. They've reset their books. Tatum will come back for a full year next year, fully healthy. And they're not going to get any grief from Celtics fans or Celtics media. Is Himmelsbach going to go after them?
No.
If they lose in the second round, are you kidding me?
Which is crazy considering how they look. Use your eyes. The season Jaylen Brown has had. The landscape of the East. Again, the expectations for me are now they should get out of this conference.
They're owned by private equity guys. Chisholm is just a face. He doesn't even have the majority of it. It's this other group. What's it called again?
Sixth Street.
Sixth Street.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And this is why he didn't commit to spending money next year.
Because they're not.
I was going to jump in and say that when you said it. Because
there's a board.
Yeah, that's right. He's not deciding it. So he doesn't have he's not. And even if, he is out front, they're going to ultimately decide whether or not they spend it. What I was looking for while you were talking was that the line that bothered me in that comment, develop our talent.
Yeah, well, so that's a tell too, Mazz. Exactly.
Develop our talent. that means, again, so he's talking about
Gonzalez, Shireman.
Yeah. That's he's talking about those
Jordan
kinds
Walsh.
of players. Right.
Jordan
And
Walsh.
cheap players. Right. And so look, when they added to the roster to win the championship, was Drew Holiday cheap? Was who am I forgetting that they
Porzingis.
Holiday,
cheap?
Horford.
Right.
those
That
guys.
wasn't about developing
They
talent.
sent them straight over into the taxes and won them a championship.
That was about fortifying the roster and
about
bringing in big guns.
Winning a championship.
Bingo. So the line develop our talent concerned me.
There is no team in town that gets less scrutiny than these guys. We might be the only ones who mention this stuff.
Thank God for us.
Once again, Jimmy, Boston, you're welcome.
Yes.
Thank God for us.
You can email me gift cards if you'd like.
There was one more Q&A in this interview. I could glean a little something. Question: you made it clear that you think TD Garden is a good home and are in no rush to consider building a new arena. But you mentioned you were curious to hear fans' views. What has the feedback been? Where do you stand now? Answer: it's pretty much the same as it was at the beginning of the season. The philosophy there is the same. The Garden is a great place to play. It's consistently ranked one of the best places in the league for player and fan experience. It is?
I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that either.
Continuing, he says it's loud, a lot of energy. It's got a storied history. My starting point is if we make it work, we'd love to stay where we are. And making it work means improving the fan experience and the player experience. If we can do those things and remain where we are now, that's great. And if that doesn't work there, we'll think about other places. But my goal here is to see if we ideally make it work where we are. And I think there's a commitment with us, with the Bruins and Delaware North, with all of that. That's where we want to end up, and we're working on it as we speak. I don't think they have the juice to build a new building in town. If Bezos or even his brother or someone like this had bought the team, and they could,
they'd be more open about talking about a new spot.
Well, they could just financially bully their way into a building somewhere. I don't think these private equity guys are. I don't think that's what they're about. I think they're about squeezing all the juice from the lemon and then selling the lemon.
Probably right.
And that's sort of where I think you're headed with these guys. Not that anyone's going to look at them like this.
So I half-heartedly also wondered whether that was some sort of message to the Jacobs about the future.
Well, so they're clearly negotiating with the Jacobs on something. Their lease, their terms, their whatever.
Yes.
Whatever there is to negotiate, they're clearly negotiating. And if you think it's about quite literally the fan experience, then I hate to disabuse you of this notion.
It's about the rent.
They're squabbling over some sort of rent or concession or something in the weeds of that deal. They're not worried about the player or fan experience. They're worried about the deal, the contract.
Unless they're trying to build a bigger locker room or something and they want the Jacobs to foot the bill.
Anyway, there's a Celtics Minute for you. Back to your calls on everything right after these words.
Now, more of
Felger and
Mazz on the Sports Hub.
It's not hyperbolic to say that if Boston wins the championship this year, it is the greatest championship in NBA history. Seriously, it is the greatest championship ever because you don't lose, 4 or 5 of your top 9 players, throw Cornette into that mix. Don't replace them with any so-called matches, all right, we lost this guy, we got this guy who could do the exact same type of things. They didn't replace them with any of these guys. Nobody was in the offseason cheering the acquisition of Luka Garza and Josh Minott. They were not. They were not doing that. This team, if they can go all the way with this group, it is the greatest championship I certainly have ever seen. Maybe you can think of one back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, but I think this would be the greatest championship that was ever won.
Gasper and I talked about this on Saturday on the Celtics Hour.
So he said it's not hyperbolic to say.
Right, not an exaggeration.
Hyperbolic. That this would be the greatest championship in NBA history.
Yes, correct.
Not Celtics, the whole league.
The whole league.
Isn't that kind of the definition of hyperbole?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just getting that clear because I'm not great with the language. What did you say on Saturday about it?
It is hyperbolic. And even, we took calls from old timers too, because some of these ones in the 60s, especially one of the ones that they won.
The last one, 69.
Yeah, where Bill Russell's the player and coach. Isn't that maybe one of the most unbelievable championships in Celtics history? And for the league, a few that immediately come to mind for me, that 11 Mavericks team, where it was Nowitzki and a bunch of hired guns that
great one
that beat the Heat when they first came together with the LeBron threesome of him and Bosh Bosh and Wade, like that one was one of the craziest championships ever. It's just I wouldn't use that wording. Given what the expectations were, where Tatum was at, if you wanted to say it would be one of the more unexpected championships ever, fine. It'd be on a list of other ones. The 95 Rockets, I'd put them on there. Like,
I would just say that you may say it's hyperbole, but
it is hyperbole.
I mean, you can't say it's not hyperbolic. It's not hyperbolic to say that I'm the greatest human being that has ever lived.
Well, it is a matter of opinion.
I mean, it's just that's the very definition of hyperbole, I would say.
Yes, and again, the one Murray brings up is a good one. I would even tell you that I'm not even sure it's the greatest championship the Celtics have ever won. If you want to start,
no, definitely not. Because again, it's so. Don't you have to look at the team and what the 86 Celtics are the best Celtics team ever? Like they are. Come on. Like and so that's their greatest championship, I think. And I think most rational people are with me, too. You have to look at the construction of the team, the superstars that you had on it. This would be incredibly impressive if they won the title this year. I expect them to get to the East. Will they probably lose to Denver or OKC going back-to-back? Probably. But if they did, it'd be impressive. But the greatest championship in the history of the league, like, that's ridiculous.
It's a little much.
Okay, it's just hyperbolic. But it would be a great, great achievement.
Yes, it would.
Yeah.
It would.
It would really say something about everybody there, for sure. No doubt about it.
Yeah, and look, it's possible I would change my mind on where it stands in history after they play Oklahoma City, if that's what it is. Like, and see how that series looks and how they were to pull it out. But no, this year would be a good achievement.
I'm sorry?
I'll say this, too, sorry to cut you off. If they won this year, it would mean a hell of a lot to me than the last one, where they had the easiest run, like, ever.
I was just about to say, if we call this the greatest in league history.
What does that make 2024?
Can I call 2024 the most useless in league history? Am I allowed to do that?
Just don't say it's not hyperbolic.
Okay, I just want to know.
I'd say it's the definition of hyperbolic to say that would be the worst championship in NBA.
I'm not going to make this offer to Mannix. I'm going to make it to Celtics fans. That if you want to call this the greatest championship in the history of the league, you have to allow me to say that 2024 was the most useless.
I'm with Mazz on this.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah.
So that's the offer on the table.
Okay. We can negotiate. 617-779-0985. One final basketball thought. Mazz had a takeaway on, jumping off from the Giannis story in Milwaukee about tanking in the NBA, Mazz?
Yeah, so look, I'll make this quick because I don't know why it hit me today the way it did, and probably because I was pissed off about the Red Sox game last night and where they're headed. But this whole idea, the tanking in sports, and we can make this about the NBA solely, but to me it's even bigger than that. Something has to be done. And I know you've talked about this in the past. Today it hit me and I don't know why. But it's got to stop. It's bad. What the Bucks are doing with Giannis, holding him out on purpose so they might be able to improve their draft position, which frankly they might not even be able to improve that much.
I started to look at this the other day for like 2 minutes and my head started to hurt. I don't even know if I don't even get it. They have some pick swaps. So they're not even, it might not even benefit them to lose. Like, I don't even get it.
No, right. So this is what I'm getting at. Yeah. So let me get this straight. If you are a Bucks fan and you bought season tickets and the only reason to go to any game now is to see Giannis, that's it. Or whoever the visiting players are. You are now being deprived of that. So this to me is the crap they're getting away with. That owners and teams and management is. The crap they're getting away with is borderline consumer fraud, if not completely consumer fraud. It's at least borderline. And it's a disgrace that teams no longer take some level of urgency to try to win every game they play. That's the whole point of selling the ticket, is that you are getting an honest effort from both sides at all times. So I think they should scrap the old formula of the draft order being decided by who the worst team is. Get rid of it. Take away any incentive to tank. Take it away. So if you the idea that people sit out games, that teams tank on purpose, is a freaking disgrace to American sports. It really is. It's ruining the product in every game.
There is only one path, and they'll never do it. And this is not opening up to your calls with your cockamamie ideas. But there is only one way to avoid it. relegation. It's the only way.
I'll tell you what, I'm for it.
Oh, I would be so for that.
Yes, I am for it. Like
in all sports, really.
They have empowered organizations. This approach
in Europe, there's massive financial incentive to not finish last.
Yes, there's got to be some mechanism put in, or some sort of major tax if you do. That you end up finishing last, you are automatically hit with a $50 million fee.
So if not relegation, which they'll never do, it's just not in the culture here, you penalize the last place.
Yes, exactly. In fact, I'd even go so far as to penalize the last 5. You finish in the bottom 5 of 30 teams, 32 teams, you really suck. And you know what? You got to pay for it. There should be a penalty for it because what's happening now is ridiculous. And I didn't spend a lot of time thinking on how you fix it other than maybe getting rid of the draft order, the traditional draft order. But some sort of penalty has got to go in there because this is a joke. Really, it's a joke. People, buy their tickets with the idea that they're going to see competition. That's it. Competition. Both sides trying to win. That's what the deal is. Something has to change. This is bad. It's ridiculous. Sorry, I know that you felt this way for a while.
Oh my God, it's a huge problem in baseball.
But really, it is.
And it's basketball is always basketball. One of the biggest problems with the sport is that there's just not enough competitive games.
Oh. And there was a stat recently on Twitter I saw about the load management, like what percentage of load management games were lost in the NBA this year, and I tried to find it again, and I couldn't find it. It's some astronomical and ridiculous number, and in the NBA, it's actually gotten better, okay? But the point being is that if 65% of the games or whatever are affected by load management in some capacity, that is stealing from the consumer. That is charging people full price for a flawed product.
Okay, everything is on the table. I promise. Right to your calls after Murray gets you updated here.
Boston's best sports talk. You can count on it.
2 plus 2 is a 5.
Me sento un po' pacchiato perché Roma
Felger and Mazz.
It seems the Red Sox might be headed to Port City instead of the playoffs because now they always find new ways to lose games. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, the slow start combined with the fact that I don't think they're all that great is a bad combination. And they have forged no identity. In other words, what I'm saying is I don't know what their path is. I don't think they've really improved their starting pitching, meaning the ceiling of it. They've improved the depth on paper, but the quality of the pitching, I don't know if has been improved. They don't hit for power. They don't hit for contact. The run prevention thing has been a complete fail. And will continue to be because I don't think they teach them proper defense in the low minors or they haven't come up. I mean, where's the run prevention coming from? I guess is what I'm asking you.
Yeah, good question.
So I think they'll get better, but I don't see what the ceiling is. And I don't think the ceiling is enough to overcome the start. And so I do. I think they are porked.
It's hard to win in baseball now if you don't have a requisite amount of power. And they don't. And they're the worst of the worst because not only do they not hit home runs, but they strike out. I mean, that means you can't even get rallies with lots of hits.
Right. And again, I hate to keep throwing the Brewers in your face, but they're in your face. They don't hit homers either, but they put the bat on the ball.
Exactly right, which is what you have to do to score if you can't hit home runs.
And they run. So they draw contact, they run, they sacrifice, and they run. And so there's an identity. There's their path. I don't know what your path is. You don't have home run hitters, and you don't have contact hitters, and you don't run, and you don't sacrifice, and you don't have plate discipline. And this is not just like a this year thing. This is what you've been now for several years. You have the most errors in Major League Baseball over the last, was it 7 years, Mazz? 8 years?
Yep.
Well, all of a sudden, that hasn't changed.
Think about that. 10 years, basically closing in on a decade, where you F up more than anyone else.
It's insane. Let's play 2 questions with Scott, or is it just one today? Scott, what do we got?
What do you think is going to happen during the Celtics game tonight?
I think they're going to roll.
Win.
Is what I think, yes.
Yeah, so I would, my gut tells me bet the over.
Mark in Rockport on the Red Sox. Hi, Mark.
Hey, guys, how are you? Hey, Mike, this team is lost without Bregman. And, Mazz, I want your opinion on this. I think Story fed off Bregman. They were 2 veterans in the infield. This team would be 500. They'd be playing 500 ball if they had Bregman. What a mistake. Mazz and Jimmy, was it money? Jesus, they got all kinds of dough. Pay for the guy.
Of course it was money.
Never mind Trevor's story. Roman Anthony he talked to the WBC about the mentorship that he had under Alex Bregman. They miss Bregman in the dugout more than anywhere else. Not even the lineup. They miss his leadership.
Murray might be right. Like, Cora really wanted him here because he knew what kind of guy he was in terms of his professionalism. And he's also one of those guys that, like, is cocky good. You know what I mean?
He's a baseball badass.
In fact, he's not even as good as he used to be, but he still acts like he's good, and he's still got there's a certain thing about Bregman's approach every day that sets sort of an example and allows everyone else to sort of say, well, he's going to handle it. And I know Story is trying. You made a comment earlier about how Contreras has not been available after some of these games to the media. Story, from what I understand, has been there routinely. So Story fancies himself as a leader. I just don't think Story's really all that good.
Well, Bregman can back up that brashness with rings, in his resume. Who in there is the Bregman right now?
Well, my point on Contreras was he's won a championship, and he's been around the league, and he's a competitive, fiery guy. Except I think what I saw last night was just him scratching a personal itch.
Yeah.
As the team has been floundering, I've not seen him take a leadership role or a vocal role or stand up and face the music or protect some of the younger guys. First time I really noticed him was last night when he flipped out because of his personal beef with the Brewers. I haven't seen him assume the team mantle on that thing. So, we let off talking about a guy like Roman Anthony is kind of thrown to the wolves. And you're asking a lot of the kid, both on the field and off. He's sort of the face of the thing. He's 21 years old. And he obviously still has a ways to go. He doesn't know how to throw a baseball. So they're in a rough spot when it comes to all that, Mazz.
Big time. Yeah, big time. And they need someone there to protect those young guys a little bit because Roman Anthony's out there beating himself up now every day after the games.
Let's pick this up on the other side with your calls in our long commercial-free segment next. I want to get to the gossip first.
Everything you said is right.
Felger and Mazz, the Sports Zone.
Mitchell waiting on a 2-1. And a line drive to left field down for a base hit. Triangle around. Anthony fires. Very clear throw. Keeps on rolling. Here comes another run. He'll let Gerard play at the plate. The tag. He's safe. Now play at third, but no throw. And it is 7-5 Milwaukee.
This ball by Mitchell was hit out to Roman. He had a nice little break on it, too. Caught it on that one hop. It's just that this throw was way offline. But this is more about the throw here to the plate in the first time.
And right now ruled a base hit and an E7.
Roman kind of DH'd a few days, and Cora was talking about working with Huddy, working on his throwing, trying to iron out some things. But you see where he catches this baseball. Drake's not even in third base yet. This throw is low, way offline.
What happened to him, Mazz?
Good question.
Was it always this bad?
No, I don't think so. No, and I'll tell you what, I did I called around a little bit just to get a sense of, what he was like in the minor leagues. I don't remember him throwing like this last year, and I'm told that when he was in the minors, it never looked like this. That the arm looked fine.
So could this be a Chuck Knobloch thing?
Maybe, yeah, maybe Murray. And when I say fine, I'm not telling you it's great. But what I do find somewhat alarming is that, nothing is ever reported on the specifics about these guys' defense when they're coming up through the minor leagues. Nobody said Christian Campbell can't throw and sucks defensively. They just said, well, they haven't figured out where they're going to play him yet. And look, these are euphemisms, so some of it you can filter through. But in the case of Anthony, did anyone ever talk about his defense? And so I'm not telling you he's horrible, but he's not the most fluid runner in the world. He lumbers a little bit, and now the throws. So how come none of this stuff ever comes up when these guys are coming through the minor leagues?
I don't know. Anyone with some actual scrutiny?
So everybody wants to get all geeked up about these guys coming. And I'm telling you, when you look at all of them, they all have flaws. Campbell might be done. Marcelo Meyer, clearly, based on how Cora handled him in the spring, needs a kick in the ass. Roman Anthony, defensively, is... Now we say, what? What's going on with him in the throws? It might be the yips. In which case, how many guys ever fully get over those? It doesn't feel like a lot. So, I do want, early in the year I said this guy might be a DH when we saw him in spring training. And naturally, everybody started flipping out over it. And how could you say that at this stage? He might be a DH.
But his throws weren't this last year. Again, they weren't pinpoint sharp or anything like that. But he's become a meme. I mean, they're calling him Roman Anthnoy online because of the noodle, ramen noodle.
I get it.
Like it's bad. That last night was atrocious.
And as Mazz mentioned, he's kind of wearing it. Jimmy, let's hear some Roman Anthnoy post-game, please, if you could. We had to bump up the volume on this because he was talking so low. He was so distraught. Go ahead.
Just a mix of everything, but in the end of the day, it's a simple play. And it's got to be at least competitive, and it wasn't again. So it's terrible.
Another one, please,
Roman. It's like the fourth time I've done it now, and it's terrible. It doesn't even make it competitive, and 2-run score. It's awful. It's awful to be a part of, and I feel like it's on me.
Again, the fourth time it's happened this year, he's rolled the ball into home plate. Give me one more if you have it.
It was a terrible throw again, so didn't have a shot with that throw, and got to be better. It's terrible.
When you hear this, what do you think, Mazz?
I think he's beating himself up publicly, and he's trying to do the right thing. Okay, so he's trying to be accountable, and I respect him for that part of it. I also think someone should be there to protect him a little bit. And this is part of the problem. They have a 21-year-old guy who's basically got 3/4 of a season in the big leagues and, who missed the end of last year because of injury on top of it. Now he's back and he has to be the team spokesman and answer for everything. Because what? Because he is the best player on the team, sadly? They've put him in a position to fail. Really, they've surrounded him with not much. Now he's,
there's no veteran leadership.
No, none. And I think part of the problem that he's having is a result of all this being on his shoulders. There's no way he doesn't feel some of that. There's no way. There's no way he sits there and says, if I don't play great, we can win because we have so many other good guys. He's not stupid. The kid knows. He can look around and see what the lineup looks like and where the shortages are. So he's probably putting undue pressure on himself. He signed a big contract, like all of that. And I think they've put him in a position to fail. I think they've done that now with a lot of these young guys, which is scary.
John in the car, your thoughts?
Mike, can we send Durbin back to Milwaukee with the Brewers and an equipment tag tomorrow when they leave?
Don't want him. Thank you.
If you want to be Milwaukee and Tampa, your player development has to be much better than this. That's what has to be top-notch. And they suck, which, if you want to talk about Anthony, they talked about him as the top prospect in baseball, Tony. Everybody did. Roman Anthony, number one. But he can't catch or throw the ball. He's average speed. He's another one that, we're not sure what position he's going to play. Guys like A-Rod, guys like Bonds, Griffey, those were five-tool, can't-miss prospects. I'm not saying the guy's not a good player, but we all bought into this Roman Emperor stuff last year, and I'm sorry, right now he looks like Caligula.
So either the baseball world didn't properly tell us about Roman Anthony's skill set, which is what you just referenced, or something's gone really wrong here with him.
So I'm fearful that it's the second thing.
Right. If he threw like that in the minors, wouldn't we know?
Yeah, there'd be clips.
I mean, Jaron Duran came up and we knew he can't throw.
Correct. In fact, he couldn't track a fly ball either when he got here.
Right. And so we knew right out of the chute. This is kind of a new thing with him, it feels like.
It is, which is why it has me concerned about the environment. This is what struck me about it when I listened to him and watch it. How's this happening with this kid? So it tells me something's going on between his ears, and that's not good.
Here's Alex Cora on the throw and the overall, that play, and Roman Anthony himself.
Obviously, it wasn't a good throw. Witt didn't back up. That has happened, I think, twice this week. That we're just watching the play. And when the ball is hit, we got to go somewhere. The only people that can watch is the people in the stands. And obviously they're not too happy.
With Roman's throwing, are you guys sure that he's healthy?
100%.
Do you think maybe he's in his head a little bit about it?
I don't think so. It's mechanics.
Okay, so not a health issue, not a mental issue. It's a mechanic issue, which is a mental issue.
That's what I think too. And even then, let's say it's mechanics, so nobody fixed it in the minor leagues.
Right.
Like, or nobody saw it before, or it's just so
he doesn't want to throw a baseball?
Right. And the other thing is, it's clearly worse, right? Like, Anthony said 4 throws. I think 3 of them were worse than the other one. There was one that was like on a hop, but it was up the line. It wasn't accurate, but it wasn't as bad as the others. So, to me, it's okay. So let's say it is mechanics. Well, then what created the change in mechanics? And I'm telling you, I'm willing to bet it's pressure.
The weight?
Yes.
Of what's been put on his shoulders?
Yes. That's what would scare me if I were them.
And Cora also points out Whitlock didn't back up. Witt didn't back up the play like Chapman didn't back up the play. So this happened to us twice this week. It is true. And the whole thing was FUBAR. Caleb Durbin did not sell out. It was a horrible throw that Caleb Durbin would have had to leave his feet to stop as the cutoff guy, or maybe dive to stop it as a cutoff guy. And he should have. And he didn't. He just kind of waved at it. Whitlock didn't back up. And somehow, you would think it'd be geometrically impossible in that ballpark to have first and second and hit a hard single to left and have 2 runs score on it. But you managed to pull it off. Between Roman Anthony's bad throw and your lack of fundamental baseball, which really gets highlighted when you play a team like the Brewers, which is like what all they do. Not very talented, but they do that thing. And so it's just sort of a stark contrast when you play a team like that. That's how you lost, because you couldn't throw the ball from left field and you don't know how to cut the baseball off.
Yep.
I mean, that's kind of gross.
I mean, the basic stuff they don't do.
How about Mark in Washington? Yes, Mark.
Yeah, I think the key phrase in that clip you played where Maloney was saying that he's working with Huddy, that says it all. I mean, Kyle Hudson is their third base coach. And, I mean, these mental mistakes, if it's mechanics or whatever, I have no faith that guy is going to fix them.
Why?
Why? I don't know. I just don't see any improvement. I mean, the mental mistakes, the way he coaches third base, guys getting picked off at third. I mean, just last year we were talking about how that guy could just be taken off the field or moved to first base.
I was trying to refresh my memory. Did we have problems with Kyle Hudson last year?
Yeah, there were some bad decisions at third base, yeah. Yep.
And he's also the outfield instructor?
He is. So I don't know enough about him as a coach.
Me neither.
But I would tell you that the way Anthony is throwing the ball right now, nobody would teach that.
So yeah, Kyle Hudson might suck. Like I can't tell you. I don't know. I know for 8 years running, the Red Sox have led Major League Baseball in errors. Mm-hmm. They have brought up any number of outfielders here who can't play the position. Whether it was Duran when he first got up here, didn't know how to track fly balls, or he can't throw, Roman Anthony can't throw. When Roman Anthony got here, they immediately had him in the outfield doing drills on how to field grounders in the outfield because he wasn't taught it in the minor leagues. Or a guy like Ceddanne Rafaela, who now feels like he's backsliding defensively. And this has been going on for like 8-9 years now.
Yes, it has.
So I don't think Kyle Hudson's been here 8-9 years unless he has been.
No, look, and again,
it's organizational.
It is. Yeah, and in some of it's inherent. And when I say that, I mean Ceddanne Rafaela's abilities as an outfielder are clear. He reads the ball off the bat. He's graceful. He can track it down. But you know what happens with him? He brain locks. He just does stupid things or gets too cool for school and doesn't chase a ball down after he misses it. Or so he brain locks. He makes stupid mistakes. And I was looking this up this morning out of curiosity because I wondered. Jarren Duran has made the second most errors in the outfield by any big leaguer in the last 2 years. 24, 25, and now the beginning of 26. So call it 2+. He's second on the list behind Angel Pagan. Okay, you know who's third? Abreu. Abreu's got 2 Gold Gloves. Somehow, people in baseball don't care about errors anymore. So Abreu's pretty good, but that's how I would categorize it. He's pretty good. He's got a good arm. He can run balls down. Balls on the ground, he F's up constantly. It's got a little bit better at the end of last year. But he still makes mistakes that a Gold Glover should not make. So I don't know why people get so caught up in the modern metrics. But their outfield defense isn't as good as everyone thinks. It's pretty good, but it's not great.
Meanwhile, someone's getting taken out tonight We'll follow up on that story with your phone calls after Big Jim Murray gets you updated. 90 seconds, no commercials.